Imagine waking up from a long journey through space, only to discover that the world you left behind no longer exists. Your entire species is gone, and you are the last human in the universe. This is the reality for one astronaut, who, after encountering a mysterious alien technology, must face the harrowing silence of a humanity erased. What remains when the stars are your only company and the past is a shadow? The Last Human is a story of survival, loss, and the endless search for meaning in an indifferent cosmos. During the protagonist's journey in cryosleep, a groundbreaking event takes place back on Earth. Humanity makes first contact with an alien species. The Grabthar, a mysterious and advanced race, arrive in the solar system aboard a massive ship the size of a small asteroid. The arrival of such an enormous vessel stirs curiosity and awe among humanity, marking a pivotal moment in human history. After weeks of attempting to establish communication, humanity succeeds in exchanging basic information with the Grabthar. The Grabthar identify themselves as explorers seeking the meaning of life among the stars. Despite their presence, they remain enigmatic, offering little insight into their origins, culture, or other civilizations they may have encountered. They avoid answering detailed questions, leaving humanity with more mysteries than answers about their visitors. The brevity of their stay only amplifies this sense of mystery. They remain in the solar system for just a few months before departing to continue their search elsewhere. Before leaving, the Grabthar extend a gift to humanity, a blueprint for the Venetian source. This device is a technological marvel, capable of generating limitless energy from simple materials. The Grabthar present it as a standard greeting for new species, a practice that suggests they have encountered other civilizations and share this gift universally. The Venetian source is unlike anything humanity has ever seen. Its scalability and simplicity make it revolutionary. It can power something as small as a toy or as large as a city with ease. The Venetian source represents a turning point for humanity, offering the promise of infinite energy. It symbolizes both the potential for unprecedented advancement and the risks associated with rapid technological adoption. While the Grabthar leave with little fanfare, their parting gesture sets humanity on a new trajectory, one that will have profound consequences. The introduction of the Venetian source is seen as a blessing, a tool to usher in a golden age, but its implications remain unknown. This moment of first contact highlights humanity's vulnerability in the face of the unknown. The Grabthar's reluctance to share more about themselves raises questions about their true motives. Was the Venetian source an act of goodwill or a calculated test for a fledgling civilization? The seeds of progress and destruction are sown simultaneously, leaving humanity to grapple with a gift that is both awe-inspiring and potentially catastrophic. The Venetian source, gifted by the Grabthar, sparks a transformative era for humanity, fundamentally altering every facet of life. This device, capable of generating limitless energy from readily available materials, becomes the cornerstone of a technological revolution. Its unparalleled scalability, powering anything from children's toys to entire cities, renders traditional energy sources like fusion reactors obsolete almost overnight. With energy constraints eliminated, humanity begins to approach problems with newfound creativity and audacity, accelerating progress in ways previously unimaginable. One of the most significant breakthroughs enabled by the Venetian source is the feasibility of large-scale terraforming projects. Mars, long considered a candidate for colonization, becomes the focal point of these efforts. With abundant energy, humanity starts reshaping the Martian environment, introducing technologies to create a habitable atmosphere, regulate temperature, and support life. The dream of turning barren planets into thriving ecosystems transitions from distant science fiction to immediate reality. Simultaneously, insights derived from observing the Grabthar's spacecraft revolutionize propulsion technology. Humanity quickly develops faster-than-light (FTL) travel, a milestone previously thought to be centuries away. This advancement opens the doors to interstellar exploration, making it possible to reach other star systems in a matter of days or weeks rather than decades or centuries. For the first time, the universe feels within humanity's grasp. The Venetian source's integration into daily life further enhances quality of life on Earth and the colonies. Personal vehicles, homes, and gadgets become entirely self-sufficient, erasing energy costs for individuals. Entire cities are powered with ease, allowing urban planning to prioritize sustainability and comfort without the constraints of resource management. Socioeconomic disparities begin to shrink as energy, once a commodity, becomes universally accessible and virtually free. However, alongside these advancements, the Venetian source introduces unforeseen risks. The rapid adoption of such a transformative technology leaves little time for thorough testing or understanding of its long-term implications. Humanity's eagerness to embrace its potential blinds it to possible dangers. As the protagonist later discovers, this reliance on an alien technology without fully grasping its mechanics or risks sets the stage for catastrophe. This technological leap represents the height of human ambition and ingenuity. The Venetian source embodies the promise of a brighter future, where energy is no longer a limitation. Yet, it also underscores the dangers of unchecked progress, how the rush to innovate can overlook potential consequences. While humanity appears poised for a golden age, this newfound power carries with it the seeds of its downfall, a tragic irony that becomes apparent as the story unfolds. After completing the 5-year cryosleep journey to the rogue planet, the protagonist awakens to an eerie silence that signals the first hint of humanity's fate. This moment is unsettling, yet initially not alarming. Silence after a long cryosleep mission is not uncommon, so the protagonist begins routine checks to ensure the mission is on track. However, as diagnostic results confirm no anomalies, the absence of communication from Earth becomes increasingly suspicious. The protagonist first investigates the ship's communication systems, expecting a malfunction. But all systems, from the comms array to the ship's sensors, are fully operational. Despite this, there are no messages or background signals from Earth or any human outposts, a chilling realization. Earth, which had always been alive with constant radio transmissions, from casual chatter to official broadcasts, is now completely mute. Even the natural cosmic radio signals from known human colonies and relay stations are absent, leaving only the ambient noise of the universe. Seeking answers, the protagonist reviews the last transmitted news report, dated 6 months prior. The content of the update is unnervingly mundane. There is no mention of any imminent disaster, conflict, or plague. Instead, the news speaks of humanity's newfound prosperity, driven by the Venetian source and advancements in FTL technology. The report suggests humanity is on the brink of a golden age, thriving in ways previously thought impossible. This contrast between expectation and reality deepens the mystery. The protagonist's confusion turns to concern upon further examination of the messages. Among them is a personal note from a friend at the Advanced Propulsion Lab, teasing about their progress in FTL technology and jokingly stating that by the time the protagonist arrives at the rogue planet, they might find others already there. The optimistic tone of the communication only heightens the sense of dissonance. The last human message is filled with hope and anticipation, yet it is followed by an unbroken void of silence. Faced with this eerie quiet, the protagonist's isolation becomes palpable. What was initially an exciting mission to explore uncharted territory transforms into a grim search for answers. The realization dawns that something catastrophic must have occurred while they were in cryosleep, something that silenced not just Earth, but the entirety of human civilization. This silence marks a turning point in the story, where hope begins to give way to dread. It encapsulates the protagonist's growing sense of alienation and the weight of their solitude in an empty universe. The silence is not just an absence of sound, but a harbinger of humanity's unknown and devastating fate, setting the stage for the protagonist's journey to uncover the truth. After encountering silence from Earth and its colonies, the protagonist sets a course back to Earth, hoping to uncover the cause of the communication blackout. Upon arriving, they are met with a devastating and heart-wrenching sight. Earth, once a vibrant blue-green oasis of life, is now a desolate, blackened husk. The planet's surface is charred, its atmosphere stripped away, and its once thriving ecosystems obliterated. The lunar colonies, too, have been reduced to nothing more than craters, their infrastructure vaporized. What little remains of humanity's former presence in orbit is reduced to scattered dust and debris. The protagonist is overwhelmed by the scale of destruction. Earth, the cradle of humanity, the home of billions, is utterly lifeless. This realization plunges them into despair as they struggle to comprehend what could have caused such an apocalyptic outcome. Driven by a need for answers, they set out on a grim journey to investigate the fate of the colonies and outposts across the solar system. From Mars to the asteroid belt, and even to the farthest human settlements, they find nothing but silence and ruin. Every trace of human civilization has been wiped out, leaving behind no survivors, no clues, and no hope. Despite the widespread devastation, the protagonist's scientific curiosity propels them forward. They refuse to accept ignorance and begin analyzing the possibilities. One crucial clue lies in the Venetian source, the alien technology gifted by the Grabthar. Though initially heralded as a miraculous device capable of providing limitless energy, the protagonist starts to suspect it may have played a role in humanity's demise. To confirm this theory, they set up an experiment on a remote, nameless asteroid. The experiment involves deploying a personal auto-fabricator to construct a small radio transmitter powered by a Venetian source. From a safe distance, the protagonist monitors the device's behavior. Initially, the source functions as intended, generating a stable energy output. However, after several months, the source experiences a catastrophic failure. Its energy output spikes dramatically, reaching unimaginable levels before the transmitter and the asteroid it was on are obliterated in a massive explosion equivalent to 200 megatons of TNT. This experiment confirms the protagonist's worst fears. The Venetian source, while offering infinite power, is fundamentally unstable. It appears to have a critical flaw, one that causes it to go into an uncontrollable feedback loop, resulting in a catastrophic release of energy. The implications are horrifying. On a planet-wide scale, a network of Venetian sources would amplify this instability, triggering a chain reaction of explosions capable of annihilating an entire civilization. This, the protagonist realizes, is likely what happened to Earth and its colonies. The revelation is devastating. The very technology that promised to propel humanity into a golden age of prosperity instead became its undoing. The Grabthar's gift, though presented as a gesture of goodwill, now appears as either a careless mistake or a test humanity failed. The protagonist is left grappling with the profound tragedy of humanity's hubris, how their eagerness to embrace the Venetian source without fully understanding its risks led to their extinction. This discovery not only provides the protagonist with the answers they sought, but also solidifies their isolation. They are now burdened with the knowledge that they are truly the last human, haunted by the irony that humanity's end came not from external threats, but from the very advancements they believed would secure their future. The scene marks a sobering commentary on the dangers of unchecked technological progress and the importance of humility when faced with the unknown. With the truth of humanity's fate confirmed, the protagonist is left to grapple with their new reality as the last surviving human. The realization is both devastating and overwhelming, driving them into a profound state of loneliness and despair. They are burdened not only by the knowledge of humanity's extinction, but also by the weight of their own survival, an existence that now seems devoid of purpose or connection. The silence and solitude of space, which once held the promise of discovery and adventure, become oppressive. The vastness of the cosmos serves as a constant reminder of the emptiness in the protagonist's life. They have no one to turn to, no one to share their pain with, and no hope of ever finding another human being. This isolation is compounded by the sheer passage of time, as days stretch into months and months into years. The absence of interaction amplifies their feelings of abandonment and futility. In their lowest moments, the protagonist contemplates ending their own life, viewing it as a release from the unbearable loneliness. However, they find themselves unable to follow through. Despite their despair, a flicker of survival instinct remains, keeping them from stepping out of the airlock or shutting down their life support systems. This internal conflict highlights the complexity of their emotions, a mix of hopelessness and an innate drive to keep moving forward, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. To cope with their isolation, the protagonist devises a plan to keep themselves occupied. They begin designing a new ship, one capable of sustaining them indefinitely as they explore the stars. This project becomes a lifeline, giving them a sense of purpose and a tangible goal to focus on. The ship is equipped with reliable fusion power and the advanced faster-than-light (FTL) engines their friend had once designed, embodying the ingenuity and resilience of humanity even in its absence. The construction of the ship takes over a decade, during which the protagonist alternates between cryosleep and bouts of waking labor, allowing them to endure the passage of time without succumbing entirely to despair. The completion of the ship marks a turning point in the protagonist's journey. While it does not alleviate their loneliness, it provides them with the means to explore the universe and potentially uncover new meaning in their existence. They set out to visit other star systems, becoming the first human to witness the wonders of alien worlds up close. This exploration, while awe-inspiring, is bittersweet. Each discovery serves as a reminder of what humanity has lost and what the protagonist can never share with anyone else. Through their struggle with isolation, the protagonist embodies the enduring human spirit. Their determination to survive, to create, and to seek out the unknown, even in the face of profound loneliness, reflects the resilience that defines humanity. At the same time, their experience serves as a poignant exploration of the psychological toll of solitude and the need for connection, a fundamental aspect of human existence. Ultimately, their journey through isolation becomes both a testament to their strength and a tragic commentary on the fragility of life and civilization. As the protagonist ventures deeper into the cosmos, their journey takes on a more existential nature. While they explore star systems and alien worlds, their quest is no longer just about discovery or adventure. It is a desperate search for meaning, a search to understand their place in an empty universe where humanity, their species, has vanished. The protagonist's inner turmoil begins to mirror the vastness of the space they traverse, empty, cold, and devoid of purpose. The protagonist's encounters with various planets and celestial bodies, while scientifically fascinating, fail to fill the void in their soul. They marvel at the beauty of alien landscapes and even discover microbial life on one planet. Yet none of it offers the connection or emotional fulfillment they crave. There is a deep yearning for companionship, for the presence of others who can share in these discoveries and give them a sense of belonging. But as they continue their journey, the emptiness around them only deepens their sense of loss. This quest for meaning becomes even more pronounced as the protagonist realizes that they are forever separated from everything they once knew. The profound loss of their civilization and species leaves them questioning the purpose of their continued existence. The exploration of distant worlds, once a dream of human ambition, now feels like a futile exercise, an endless cycle of searching for something that may not exist. The protagonist begins to wonder what the point of it all is, questioning whether any of their actions or discoveries will ever matter in the grand scheme of the universe. As the years pass, the protagonist's emotional state deteriorates. They struggle to maintain focus on the academic and scientific aspects of their journey because their mind is consumed by thoughts of the past, of the people they knew, the life they once had, and the meaning that once came from being part of a larger, thriving society. The realization that they are truly alone in the universe becomes suffocating, and the search for meaning intensifies as they grapple with the crushing weight of their isolation. At times, the protagonist considers abandoning the search altogether, giving in to the overwhelming urge to end their life. However, as much as they are driven by the need to escape the emotional pain, they're also driven by a stubborn will to survive. They are too much of a coward to take their own life, caught between the desire for an end and the instinct to continue. This internal struggle highlights the protagonist's deep existential crisis, caught in a cycle of searching for something to give their life purpose, while simultaneously being unable to escape the agony of loss and solitude. This search for meaning eventually leads the protagonist to a breakthrough, but not in the way they expected. They encounter a new species, one that has just begun to venture beyond their home planet, and for the first time in years, they have someone to communicate with. The opportunity to connect with intelligent life brings a fleeting sense of relief, but it is bittersweet. The protagonist's thoughts are inevitably drawn back to humanity. What was lost, what could have been, and what will never be again. The encounter with these new beings forces the protagonist to confront the depth of their own grief, as everything about the new species reminds them of the life they had and the civilization that is gone. Ultimately, this search for meaning becomes an existential reckoning for the protagonist. They come to understand that the answers they have been seeking, about their place in the universe, about life after humanity's extinction, will never truly satisfy them. The pain of what was lost will never be fully alleviated, and no new discovery will ever fill the void. This realization leads them to a tragic conclusion. The search for meaning is not something that can be solved or fulfilled, but something that must be endured in the face of an indifferent universe. The protagonist's journey reflects the painful truth that sometimes meaning is not found in answers, but in the perseverance to keep going despite the overwhelming emptiness. The protagonist's search for meaning eventually brings them to an unexpected and pivotal moment: the discovery of intelligent life. After years of aimless wandering through the cosmos, encountering only barren worlds and microscopic life forms, they finally encounter a civilization on the cusp of space exploration. This marks the first time in decades that the protagonist has contact with any form of intelligent life, and it stirs a complex mix of emotions within them. When the protagonist announces themselves to the new species, it marks the first step toward re-establishing communication with another sentient being. The process of learning how to communicate with this species is arduous, requiring weeks of patience and effort. But the challenge of communication provides the protagonist with a brief sense of purpose, as they work tirelessly to bridge the vast gap between species. For the first time in a long while, they have something to focus on, something outside of their own despair and loneliness. The connection with a new species, though initially frustrating and difficult, offers a sliver of hope, a brief respite from the agonizing silence of the universe. However, as the weeks pass, the protagonist's emotions grow increasingly complex. While they are grateful for the chance to converse with another intelligent being, they are also deeply reminded of everything they have lost. The new species, despite its intelligence and potential, serves as a painful reflection of the life that once existed on Earth. Their curiosity and enthusiasm for the unknown are echoes of the humanity the protagonist can never return to. The protagonist finds it impossible to fully embrace this new connection because every aspect of the species reminds them of the life they had, the people they loved, and the world they once inhabited. Talking about humanity, or even acknowledging their past, becomes a source of deep emotional pain. The protagonist tries to avoid the topic, but inevitably, the question arises. When asked about their own people, they respond with evasiveness and reluctance, unable to confront the unbearable weight of their memories. The pain of their loss is so deep that even a casual mention of humanity brings it rushing back in waves of sorrow. The protagonist has spent so many years suppressing their grief that the mere act of speaking about it causes it to resurface, raw and uncontrollable. This interaction with the new species, while intellectually stimulating, serves as a poignant reminder of the insurmountable grief the protagonist carries. The joy of communication quickly fades into the recognition that no matter how much they learn from this new civilization, it cannot replace what they have lost. They are once again reminded that the universe, despite its infinite wonders, offers no solace for the pain of surviving humanity's extinction. Eventually, the weight of their emotions becomes too much to bear. The protagonist realizes that their pain is no longer just about the loss of humanity, but about the knowledge that the new species, oblivious to the suffering the protagonist endures, will continue their existence without ever knowing the full story of what came before them. The protagonist, feeling overwhelmed by this realization, makes the difficult decision to leave the new species behind, unable to bear the emotional toll of interacting with them any longer. Before departing, the protagonist sends a final message to the new species. In it, they pass on the knowledge of the Venetian source, a device capable of providing limitless power, the same technology that had been passed to humanity by the Grabthar. In doing so, the protagonist offers them the opportunity to avoid the same mistakes humanity made. The message is a mixture of hope and sorrow. Hope that the new species will benefit from the technology and avoid humanity's tragic fate, but sorrow for the lost opportunity to share in their discovery. This encounter with new life is a turning point for the protagonist. It is a reminder that, even in the vastness of space, life continues to evolve and progress. But for the protagonist, it only deepens the sense of isolation and loss. The presence of the new species serves as both a beacon of hope and a painful reminder of the irreplaceable past they can never return to. The protagonist's departure from them marks the end of their quest for connection, leaving them with the knowledge that, while the universe is full of life, they are forever alone in their grief. As the protagonist continues their lonely journey through the cosmos, they are confronted with a harsh and unavoidable truth. They are the last of their kind, and no matter how many new civilizations or stars they explore, they cannot escape the grief of their loss. Their encounters with other intelligent species, like the one mentioned in the previous point, serve as poignant reminders that while life continues to evolve and flourish elsewhere, the human race is no more. This realization becomes the foundation for the protagonist's final acceptance of their fate, marking a significant shift in their perspective. The protagonist begins to see their existence not as a continuation of human civilization, but as the last testament to it. The pain of humanity's extinction no longer seems to come from an overwhelming sense of hopelessness, but from the deep, irreparable void left in the protagonist's soul. Every new planet they visit, every alien species they encounter, serves only to highlight the vast, indifferent universe in which they are now stranded. This universe, despite its beauty and its boundless potential for discovery, offers no answer to the existential questions the protagonist struggles with. The protagonist's search for meaning, once driven by a desire for understanding and connection, gradually transforms into a journey towards self-acceptance of the reality that there is no greater purpose left for them to fulfill. The protagonist's emotional journey reaches a critical point when they confront the stark truth about their loneliness. The vast expanse of space, which once promised adventure and the hope of discovery, has become a reflection of their inner desolation. The absence of other humans and the failure to form lasting connections with alien species makes it painfully clear that their quest for meaning in the universe is futile. The protagonist's role as the last human is a cruel, unalterable fact. They are not an explorer who is part of a larger mission, but an isolated individual, alone in an uncaring universe. This acceptance of the void is not a peaceful resolution. It is a painful recognition that the search for meaning, or for any kind of reunion with humanity, is pointless. The protagonist's emotional landscape shifts from a deep yearning for the past to a grudging acceptance of the present. It is a form of resignation, a surrender to the overwhelming emptiness that surrounds them. The protagonist realizes that no matter how far they travel, no matter how many stars they visit, they cannot undo the past, nor can they fill the infinite space left by the extinction of humankind. In this final stage of their journey, the protagonist begins to come to terms with their new existence. They no longer search for a greater purpose or for ways to fill the emptiness inside them. Instead, they turn their attention to small, personal tasks that offer brief moments of distraction and solace. Designing the new ship, exploring new star systems, and documenting the universe become not pursuits of knowledge or fulfillment, but ways to occupy time in the face of an unbearable, unfathomable loneliness. Ultimately, the protagonist's final realization is a paradox. While they accept that there is no longer any hope of human connection or revival, they still feel compelled to carry on. The act of continuing, even in the face of such overwhelming isolation, becomes an exercise in endurance rather than a search for meaning. The protagonist's acceptance of the void is not a moment of enlightenment or peace. Rather, it is an acceptance of the eternal nature of their solitude. They will never find the answers they are searching for, nor will they ever escape the crushing weight of their loss. Yet in this painful acceptance, they find the strength to keep moving forward, if only because they have no other choice. In a final, cathartic moment, the protagonist acknowledges that there is no greater meaning or end to their journey. The endless searching for purpose, for something to fill the void, has come to an end. The universe continues indifferent to their suffering, and all they can do is continue on their path, alone in the cosmos, carrying the memory of humanity with them, as the last person who remembers what it meant to be human. The pain of loss, while never fully alleviated, is now a part of their existence. And in this acceptance of the void, they come to understand that their journey is one of pure survival, not discovery and not redemption. The culmination of the protagonist's journey is marked by a final, heart-wrenching decision to send one last message to the new species they encountered, completing the circle of communication that began when they first made contact. This act serves as both a symbolic gesture and an acceptance of the irreversible changes in their life. It is not only a way to pass on knowledge to this new species, but also an emotional release for the protagonist, who has carried the pain of humanity's extinction for so long. In the final message, the protagonist transmits the blueprint for the Venetian source, the alien technology that had once been humanity's salvation and, paradoxically, its doom. This technology, capable of producing limitless energy from simple materials, had sparked the golden age of humanity before it caused its destruction. By sharing it with a new species, the protagonist hopes to offer them the same opportunity humanity once had, the potential for boundless progress and prosperity. The message is carefully crafted, not just as an informative communication, but as a last act of hope, despite the overwhelming grief that colors the protagonist's words. It is as if the protagonist is passing on the lessons learned from humanity's rise and fall, offering the new species a chance to avoid the same mistakes. The message itself is a formal greeting, a standard greeting for a new species, as the protagonist notes in the text. But it carries far more weight than a mere introduction. It is an acknowledgement of the past, a reminder of what was lost, and a final, bittersweet offering of hope. In its simplicity, the message captures the essence of the protagonist's journey: the search for meaning, the discovery of alien life, the painful realization of humanity's extinction, and the acceptance of their place as the last human. The act of sending this message signifies a reluctant passing of the torch to another civilization, knowing that their future will be shaped by the same power that led humanity to its downfall. Sending the final message is also an emotional release for the protagonist. It is a moment of catharsis, where they let go of the burden of humanity's past and attempt to find a sense of closure. After years of being alone in the cosmos, haunted by the echoes of the human race, this message represents the final acknowledgement that humanity is truly gone, and that the protagonist's role in the universe has now come to an end. The protagonist realizes that this last transmission will not bring humanity back, nor will it undo the damage caused by the Venetian source, but it offers a sense of finality and a recognition that their story is part of a larger cosmic cycle. By sending this message, the protagonist both completes their journey and passes on the legacy of humanity to another species, in the hope that they will use the knowledge wisely. The final message, however, is also an acknowledgement of the protagonist's own futility and sorrow. The protagonist knows that, despite their best intentions, they cannot change the course of the universe or the fate of their species. The Venetian source, now in the hands of the new species, will carry on the cycle of creation and destruction that humanity experienced. The protagonist's message, while filled with hope, is ultimately tinged with an inescapable sadness, because it is clear that no matter what new species emerge, they too will face the same existential struggles that humanity did. The protagonist has passed on the knowledge, but they cannot change the harsh truth that the cycle of life and death in the universe will continue, indifferent to their suffering. In the end, the protagonist's final act is both a gift and a burden. It is a gift in that it offers the new species a chance to thrive, just as humanity once did. But it is also a burden because it is rooted in the same technology that led to humanity's demise. The protagonist's last act is to leave a legacy of wisdom and caution, but also a recognition of the infinite cycle of life, death, and rebirth in the cosmos. As the protagonist sends the message, they are not only concluding their journey, but also understanding that their role in the universe, however small or significant it may have been, is now finished. This final message brings the protagonist's story full circle, from the exploration of the unknown to the realization that the universe is indifferent to the suffering of individuals. The protagonist's journey, marked by solitude, despair, and eventual acceptance, ends with the quiet passing of knowledge to the next species in line. It is an act of completion, a way for the protagonist to reconcile with the emptiness of the cosmos and to acknowledge that the future will continue, even without humanity. It is a moment of bitter peace, where the protagonist, having carried the memory of humanity for so long, finally releases it into the void, leaving behind only a message and a hope for the future.